played the poor me card.
I didn't see that. No.
Nice enough to join us with more on the NBA playoffs. And we got to ask him about Zach Lavine from NBA.com by way of the Star Tribune in Minneapolis. Steve Aschburner, how are you today, Steve?
I'm doing fine, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. I wanted to ask you before we got into the playoffs about Zach Lavine. I know you used to cover the Wolves, and hopefully my timeline is right here, and you covered them when he played there. But I'm just curious, Steve, what you think. You have a unique perspective on his career. What you think is Zach Lavine's fit here with the Kings in Sacramento these days?
Well, I mean, actually, the timeline's a little bit off. I was off the Minnesota Timberwolves beat by the time Zach Lavine got there. I had left and joined NBA.com, but I was based in Chicago when he played for the Bulls.
Okay.
So around him then, and you know, I mean, a very well-intentioned, sincere guy. I think he didn't feel like he got a fair shake with the Bulls organization. I think he would have been happy to stay there because of the way the NBA salary structure is set up. They had to pay somebody, and he ended up with the biggest contract. And as a result of that, you know, there was a little bit of friction and a sense that, well, he wasn't playing up to that deal, you know, but he's not the one that you know, put the offer on the table. You know, so I think that he's a good player. He's you know, a really nice piece to have on a contender. I don't know that he's the guy that's going to carry a team, and I thought there was some redundancy, frankly, when the Kings acquired him from Chicago. I mean, I get the whole nice to have the bookends of DeRozan and Zach Lavine together again because they functioned well in Chicago. But part of what went on with the Bulls is that, you know, Zach was hurt, and so it was more a matter of, okay, now it's DeRozan's time, and then when Lavine comes back, we'll figure out a way to work him in. You always have to be leery when you have guys who kind of overlap that you're going to end up in a my turn, your turn offensive situation, and that rarely produces great results. So, yeah, that's sort of where I stand. I mean, it's just yeah, it's a little bit of a head scratcher when they acquired him, and you know, certainly wanted to see it work out. I've you know, when you cover the league nationally, you know, you don't root for anybody, but you kind of root for everybody, and you want to see them be their best selves because that makes for the best stories. And it's been a little bit of a downer for what the Kings have been the last couple of years. A lot higher expectations. Absolutely. Meanwhile, I figured that only Kings fans might be able to relate to how Knicks fans feel right now, watching Tyrese Haliburton cut a wide swath through these playoffs.
Steve,
he went there.
Shouts out, Steve, man. Having Steve on for a long time as a guest, man. Steve, you speaking of Ty Haliburton, one of the questions as you heard coming in, and I'll allow you to answer that if you it would be so graceful to do so. Is Ty Haliburton a villain in the NBA?
Yeah, you know, that's a funny phrase, I guess, or a label to attach to him. I mean, a baby-faced villain, you know, perhaps. I mean, it's a stretch. I think that people might resent or dislike Tyrese Haliburton. You know, maybe it seems like, boy, you know, everything he touches turns to gold, and you know, he's living a bit of a charmed life these days, and, you know, things have worked out. And, you know, villain is, you know, I would look for somebody with a darker side to him than Haliburton. I think he comports himself very well. I think he's, you know, a guy that any organization would be happy to have. It just happens to be with Indiana now. I thought that trade was, you know, it was a trade that help both teams. You know, a little bit like the Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, DiVincenzo trade that happened before this past season with New York and Minnesota. I thought I've always liked Sabonis, and you know, he's a double machine, and you know, a fine player to have. And Haliburton, I tracked the rookie, so I paid a lot of attention when he was in his rookie season. And there was no doubt he was the sleeper of that draft.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I didn't expect him to become, this giant slayer. Even what he did in the mid-season tournament a couple years ago when, he mocked Damian Lillard with the wristwatch thing and everything. I mean, he's got that little edge to him that I think can rankle fans, but it doesn't seem like it's with a sneer. It's almost like just, here's a touchstone, here's a reference point. And whether it's the hands wrapped around the throat, and I think he was a little embarrassed because he thought he had won that game last night. But no, I mean, villain. Yeah, he's a villain in air quotes, just like he's overrated according to that one national player poll. That's in air quotes too, in my mind.
Steve Aschburner, nice enough to join us. It's funny that year he came into the league, Indiana did not have a first-round pick, and yet they have 3 players from the top 14 of that draft in the rotation now. Funny how that worked out. But I wanted to get back to the Bulls, Kings. How about DeMar DeRozan? We're making some assumptions here. We don't know what they're going to do. It's possible the Kings are looking right now at options for trading DeMar. He may not want to stay here. We don't know. Maybe he stays. My question for you is, how much of a market do you guess there would be for DeMar DeRozan if, in fact, he and the team decided, hey, let's see where else we can send you?
I guess it depends on the price, and I don't know his salary situation at the moment off the top of my head. So, given his age and, his fit and his horizon, I would think that it comes down to, what the money is, how that fits with what a team's trying to do, and what their ambitions are. I would think that it, with him, you're not shooting 3-4 years down the road. I mean, you're looking at a window that's right now. And
Steve, to answer your question, he's at 24/7 this coming season, and then 25/7 in 26-27, and then he's unrestricted. And I think one of those years may be only partially guaranteed, but that's pretty much what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just look at teams that are desperate to make some noise, 1 year from now. And I think of the Lakers always. And, that was a destination for him even before he, a potential destination before he even ended up in Chicago. And I think of Dallas because they've come out and said that, they see their window as 2-3 years. So he could be a player that could help there. But, then you get into the nitty-gritty of what you take back, draft assets, matching salaries, and all that business.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Joined by Steve Aschburner of NBA.com, senior writer. Steve, the OKC Minnesota Game 2 kicks off here tonight. Your thoughts on Game 1, and I guess a lot of the complaints about SGA kind of still foul baiting leading into Game 2. Do you think the league pays a little closer attention to that tonight?
That could happen, and I don't know whether it's so much his style of searching for fouls, but I think it was highlighted the discrepancy between the calls he gets and the style of play we've seen so far in the postseason. Players have been allowed to be more physical defensively, and there's been more contact, and he's still sort of getting whistled with bubble wrap, and so I think that's been a glaring difference, and that might be it. I mean, in terms of him, going in and seeking out contact, and I don't enjoy that. I mean, it's not so much. I'd rather watch a guy just finish the play, and if it's a legit and one, fine. But if your goal is to get to the foul line, I don't like watching Jimmy Butler play that way either. So. With SGA, look, I voted for him for MVP. I thought it was a pretty persuasive case that he made. And if that's what works for the Oklahoma City Thunder to get to this point and maybe to get beyond, I'm not going to begrudge them that. I just want referees, as always, to be consistent. If you're going to allow a certain level of contact, then you don't send one guy to the foul line when he is met with that exact level of contact.
That's Steve Aschburner from NBA.com. Steve, we'll let you go on this one. As far as the Pacers' miraculous comebacks, and I'm sure you've seen all the numbers, is there any rhyme or reason you can see to all these amazing comebacks they've been enjoying of late in the postseason?
Well, I think it comes down to mentally and physically. Mentally, they're confident, and when you do it once, you're probably more prone to do it a second time because you have something to refer to, and you believe. Physically, I think they do have a deep roster. I think that they're well conditioned. They stay aggressive at both ends for most of the game. They are able to shift from a really intense defense to a fast break offense. And so I just think that they have great stamina, so they're maybe a little more fresh than their opponents late in the game. But and some, look, you got to factor in luck, and right now luck is lined up, firmly on the side of the Pacers in these rounds.
Yes. For great NBA coverage, NBA.com, Steve Aschburner, senior writer. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Enjoy the playoffs. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep, we appreciate it. When we come back, oh my.